great loan officers and a wonderful moderator. The loan officers are Amy Dixon, who has been in the mortgage business since August of 2015. Amore Azimi has been in the business since May of 2012. And Jordan Eng has been in the business since September of 2014. As I mentioned, our moderator is Sean Williams. Sean is the president of Fortis Mortgage, is an expert in the mortgage lending business with a long history of helping clients fulfill their homeownership dreams. Driven by family values in both his home and work life, Sean strives to help others' families navigate the home buying and financing process by providing exceptional service and the most affordable rates available. Over Sean's 15+ year career in the mortgage industry, he has overseen more than $2 billion in loans while building outstanding leadership, management, and team building skills. Prior to founding Fortis Mortgage, he was the executive vice president and head of production at Atlantic Coast Mortgage, where he was responsible for overseeing mortgage activities for the company's network of retail branches. He also spent several years as district manager and branch manager for Academy Mortgage and branch manager at George Mason Mortgage. Sean began his career as a mortgage loan officer with Bank of America Home Loans, where his passion for helping clients was first ignited. Sean believes in giving back to his community and is an active volunteer with several nonprofit organizations, serving on numerous boards and committees. He has coached basketball for several years in several schools and club teams, and enjoys golf, reading, spending quality time with his wife and children. Sean hails from Central Virginia and holds a BA in communications from George Mason University. Be sure to join Sean live on LinkedIn Live every Thursday at 2 p.m. Thanks so much for joining us to moderate our panel today, Sean.
Hey, thank you for having me. Thank you so much, Margie. Wow, okay. I don't know where to start. I was a little taken back, like, with that introduction. I appreciate you reading that bio. So that's all you'll really get from me today. Folks that are listening, it's not about me. It's going to be today about Amy, Amore, and Jordan. I got an opportunity a few weeks ago to speak with them. I'd known Amy sometime. I just met Amore and Jordan, but they're three outstanding loan officers. Young ladies, and I'm looking forward to the conversation today. First and foremost, I appreciate the opportunity to speak today. Thank you, Maryland Mortgage Bankers and Brokers Association. We have the Young Professional Women's who sponsored this, as well as YPN as well. And so thanks for this. So what we're going to do to get started, if you listen to me at 2:00 on Thursdays, I'm working on it, but I do a horrible job at introducing people. So Margie, maybe, you can co-host with me and do those introductions. I always just ask people to tell me who they are and what they do. So
I'm happy to do it.
So let's get started. So thanks again, everyone. Do me a quick favor. If you are a loan originator, in the chat, put a 1. If you are a loan originator. Come on, we got more than 2, 3. Let's go. You are a loan originator. If you are a loan originator and you've been in the business longer than 10 years, put a 2. And lastly, if you are here just because you love Amy, Amore, and Jordan, and you want to support everything that they're doing, put a 3. That should be everybody, by the way. All right, so this is awesome. So let's get started. So who wants to go first? Oh, Amore, there we go. I saw your screen light up. I saw your screen light up.
I was clearing my throat.
She's ready.
Sean, can I do just a quick reminder to everyone? If you want the best view on this, you want to click on speaker view and go for it. That's it.
Sounds good. So here we go. So Amore Azime, as you've heard, she's with Embrace Home Loans. Amore, we're going to get into more, but quickly tell us, about yourself. Just like I said, who you are, what you do. But what I want you to also lean in on, because I thought it was great when we had our conversation previously, you got to tell us your superpower too as well. All right. So tell us who you
Okay.
are, what you do, and then talk a little bit about your superpower.
Okay, so I am a loan officer. Actually, as of last week or 2 weeks ago, I was promoted to a senior loan officer. So that was a big accomplishment. So now I'm a senior loan officer for Embrace Home Loans. I started in the business actually as the receptionist. In May of 2012, I was hired. I was a year out of college, didn't have a job. First job that was available to me was becoming the receptionist, the face of Embrace, as my manager at that time liked to call it. After about 2 months, 3 months, I was promoted to a loan officer assistant. A year after that, I had gotten licensed, but I continued to help as an assistant, and I could originate on my own, but on my own time. It was about a year after that, so I had been originating for a year and assisting for about 2.5 years. I just got burnt out and I was like, I'm ready to do this on my own and I'm ready to jump ship. So I jumped ship December of 2014. I became a loan officer on my own. And here we are today. I am now a senior loan officer. My superpower, I would say, is being personable. I like to find ways to connect with someone for the first time. I don't just want to say, oh, hey, go fill out my application online and send me your docs. I will take that first call, make it a warm and fuzzy, get to know them, understand who they are as a person, what they're trying to accomplish in life, why they want to purchase a home or why they need to refinance. And then I go from there. So I would say my personality, being personable, is what is my power.
That's awesome. That's a great superpower to have, to be able to connect with people and be personable. We won't talk about how you turned down your first job out of college because, you know, they weren't going to pay you enough money. But now I'm just kidding. We'll get into that later. Yeah, but thank you for that. So Jordan, tell us who you are, what you do, and let us hear about your superpower.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Jordan Ng. I'm a loan officer with First Home Mortgage. I cover Maryland, DC, and Virginia. And I got into the industry. Actually, I had met my manager. I was bartending at Skipper's Pier down in Deal, Maryland. And his wife was actually like, I think you'd be really good at what my husband does. You should meet with him. So I met with him. He kind of told me about what he did. And I knew nothing about the industry. But he gave me a shot, which was awesome. I'm very grateful for that every day. And I've loved it ever since. So I would say that my superpower when it comes to clients is just being able to read and pick up on their emotions. Buying a home is very emotional and it can be stressful at times. So being able to sense how they're feeling throughout the process makes it easy to stop and make sure that they're comfortable before we move to the next step. I think when it comes to business in general, one of my superpowers would be just being really open-minded to different ideas and implementing new things, because the industry is forever changing and you can pick up ideas from, anywhere you look. I've picked up things from Amy and Amore already. My processor, my assistant, my fiance, like they all have wonderful ideas that can be implemented. So just being open-minded to that and trying new things has been really helpful.
That's awesome. So many of us sometimes we think we have it all figured out. We know everything and, just don't have that humility to be coachable and such. And so it sounds like that's the case for you. And I see that guy in here because I'm not on speaker view. I'm on the whole gallery view. So I see the guy that gave you the opportunity and, you have a great mentor and congratulations on your success. So thanks, Jordan, for that. So here we go. Last but not least on our panel, we have Amy Dixon, and she's with Hometown Lenders. So Amy, tell us about yourself, who you are, what you do, and let us hear about your superpower.
Hey guys, thanks so much for allowing me to be here. My name's Amy Dixon and I go by the Mortgage Girl Boss on social media. I fell into this industry back in August of 2015 and I'm so grateful that I did. It's not something that I ever knew or thought that I wanted to do, but being able to help people with the biggest purchase transaction of their life it just brings my heart so much joy. I think that Jordan, Amore, and we all have similar superpowers because we're women. And as women, that is a superpower. Being a woman gives us the ability to be really great listeners, which will take you far in this industry. If you really listen to your clients and what their goals are and build them scenarios that match exactly what they're trying to do, that will resonate with them. They'll want to refer other people to you. So that's a superpower in itself, being a good listener. And I feel like we all have the ability to make people feel comfortable too. So we just have that spirit about us. Specifically for me, I believe another superpower that I have is my ability to create a brand and maintain that brand. I've always been a big believer in the law of attraction. And by having a brand, you can attract people to come to you instead of you having to chase after and get business. So I created a brand in the Mortgage Girl Boss, and my goal is to just continue building out that brand and attracting more and more business.
Hey, that sounds good. As I browse the screen, I see a lot of women in here, so I'm not gonna argue about your superpower. I promise you that. That's not gonna happen right now. But no, I would agree with that. So the listening is very important. So Amy, we're gonna stay with you, right? I like what you mentioned about building the brand and the law of attraction. I think that is that's super important in regards to like how you've grown your business. So two things, like give me an idea of what it looked like for you your first full year in the business, and then last year 2020 was your best year, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go from just like your first year in the business. About how many loans and maybe volume did you do your first full year?
So it was kind of weird because I started with a call center, and I was only doing one type of loan. I could only do VA cash out refinances. And the company I was working at, they paid us a salary and we didn't really get too much commission. So back then I wasn't really paying attention to how much volume I was doing. But my first year doing purchase transactions was a train wreck because I went from a call center to getting business coming into me to me having to go out and get my own business. I had no idea what I was doing, and I just didn't feel like I had the right leadership or mentorship. So I really didn't do a lot of business that first full year, and I was actually jumping from company to company until I found my home with my team that I'm with now. So I would say my first full year, I probably did less than 20 transactions.
And then last year you picked it up and you had your best year. And what was that like for you?
So last year I did 55 families for 16.6 million.
That's great. That's a huge jump. That's a big jump. So I remember when we were talking, you had mentioned about your branding, and then we talked about the law of attraction. But you made a comment. I think this is very helpful for folks that are listening, hiring managers, folks that are new to the industry or less than the 10 years that we kind of talked about. What did you do? You made a comment about how you sat down the year before, and you wrote your plan out about how to increase your business. Right. And what was going through your mind with that? And, what did you do to put that plan together?
Right. So like I said, I love the law of attraction. I believe in it. And I really wanted to focus more so instead of being more agent driven. I wanted people to come directly to me because I don't know how much longer agents are going to be relevant, to be honest. So when I sat down, I was like, how can I attract more people to come to me? And the first thing that came to my mind is just growing the Mortgage Girl Boss and being more present on social media. So one thing that I did last year that really helped was I hired a virtual assistant. So she's the one that runs my social media for me. She's making sure I'm posting every single day. We have a Facebook group that we put people in if they're not ready to purchase a home right now. And we make sure we post in that Facebook group on a daily basis so that they're always seeing us in front of them. So me just staying in front of people that I've already connected with, that's a big part of my plan. And then another thing that I do is I send out Monday morning motivational emails to my entire database. So I've always really liked writing and I like inspiring people. So I just make it a point to share with them whatever I've learned throughout the week. And that's really resonated with people. And they always come back, even if I've talked to them a long time ago.
That's awesome. So we're gonna go over to thank you for that, Amy. That's very good information. I'm typing some things also in the chat. So you know, if everyone that's on here, you can follow that. So I'm just a few takeaways as they're happening. I'm just typing them in here. So I heard the social media and the hiring a virtual assistant is something that really helped you a lot. Would you say that?
Yes.
All right, awesome. So here we go, More. Let's talk about, like, you had made a comment on our initial conversations too, as well, about how you were reaching out to agents during the pandemic to really check on them to see how they were doing, your whole sphere of influence in your database and such. And one of the things that I wrote down that stood out to me is you were asking people. You said, "How can I help build your production?" Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yep, that's right.
Okay, tell us about that.
Okay, so realtors are used to lenders just reaching out, asking for their business so that they can get the loan. That's it. They're not really wanting to get to know them and really be their partner and help them grow their own business. So I thought that this was the perfect time. It's 2020. A lot of buyer agents, their business had slowed down due to it being a seller's market, and the inventory was so low, and they were struggling and they were losing out deals, and they just had anxiety and they were going through some turmoil. So I decided to reach out to them on a personal level and just say, hey, what can I do to help you build your business? I'm not talking about mine. I'm not talking about how successful I've been in 2020. What can I do? And they basically all responded with, we want listings. We want listings. We want people who can sell their homes. And I'm like, okay, great. I was like, how can you do that? Do you want me to reach out to my marketing department to see what we can come up with to help you generate listings? Just let me know what you need so that I can help you. And we know listings isn't going to help us as a loan officer off the bat. I mean, it may later where that seller decides to buy something new, but they may already have their own lender. But it's just about building that relationship with your referral partners to let them know I'm here for you even when you're going through like the tough time. Because we're all going to go through tough times, and you want that support from someone that you deal with daily.
That is also another great one. So there's some laws of stratospheric success, and one of them is add value, right? Give more value than you collect and pay. And so it sounds like that's what you were doing, is you were going from a standpoint. Obviously at the end of the day, the universe is going to give back to you. That's something that is just naturally going to happen. But you came from a place of adding value. To try to figure out how you can add value to those folks so that, at the end of the day, you can be prepared to receive. But you did it with no expectations, it sounds like to me.
Yep.
Other than helping.
Yep. I've been told by someone great, AKA my fiance, get rid of expectations.
Okay. He's a wise man. He probably wouldn't argue with Amy either about the women's superpower either. So here we go. So Jordan, you had made a comment before as well, but even on this call, to some extent, about like actually fresh ideas. And I thought that was really amazing, like how you framed it. And so you also said when you were growing and building your business, you were looking outside of the industry for fresh ideas. And you specifically said like marketing strategies, but fresh ideas. And I'll get back to Amore because I forgot to ask her. But Jordan, like first full year in the business, like were all in, committed to it versus what you did in 2020? What were those numbers like? You can just give us maybe your number of families you helped versus like maybe your volume. So tell us that. But then also I want you to speak about what you mean about, getting information from the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. So my first full year was 2015 and helped 30 families and volume was around 7.7 million. And then last year, 2020 was my best year, helped 80 families and closed 29.3 million. So, you know, just kind of looking outside the industry, but I know that there are people that absolutely, you know, do this as well inside our industry. I followed Amy Porterfield actually quite a bit. She's really big into list building and, you know, online courses, things like that. So one of the things that it took me years really just to get implemented, and always something that I wanted to do, was a weekly newsletter. Just because I feel like, you know, people might be interested in buying a home, you know, a couple years ago, but it might not be the right time for them yet. But I still needed that way to really stay in touch with them. And I felt like doing it as a weekly newsletter and providing, you know, helpful information every single week would be a great way to stay in touch for those when they're actually ready to, you know, take that next step and really start looking. So I added in a newsletter, and I do that through MailChimp. And I have one list that's for any potential home buyers. So really anybody that, you know, expressed interest at any point, whether they move forward with a pre-approval or a consultation or not. And then my second list is for anyone that has bought with me. So it's called Homeowner Highlights. So, and that has all the information for, you know, maintaining your home and, you know, should you do a renovation, you know, those kind of tips and things that might be useful for someone who's owning a home for the first time. Because just in the way that it's very confusing and hard to know what to do when you're purchasing your first home, it's definitely hard to navigate owning it as well. You know, those systems, how often should you get them serviced and things like that. So I wanted that way to stay in touch with past clients as well, because I realized that that wasn't something that I had, you know, in 2015. And then, you know, probably sometime around 2017 rolled around, and I was like, wow, I haven't been in touch with a lot of these clients in a long time. So I really wanted to make sure that, you know, that was in place as well. So they're two different newsletters, and they go out once a week.
Oh, you do it once a week?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. So how much energy, like time and effort, did you have to put into getting that started? One, and then how much effort do you have to put into getting it out every week? I think that's important to know.
So getting it started, I would work on it, I would say a couple of hours each week, because I started with Salesforce, and I would send out just kind of a mass email through there oftentimes. And, you know, I'd put a video in it or something like that. And then I was like, you know, if anybody wanted to unsubscribe, it wouldn't be an automated thing. And I wanted to make sure that I had the information to track how many people were opening it and how many people were clicking. So when I moved it over, I would say that probably took me altogether, like by the time I was like, I'm going to do this to the time I finish it, it was maybe like a week. You know, I just do a little bit each time because I'm not very tech savvy. But once it was all set up, I can add somebody to the newsletter from Salesforce, which is my main system. And then, you know, I go into MailChimp once a week and just kind of filter out, you know, and send everything through there. I have my templates ready to go. So, I mean, I would say, you know, it can take me as little as 30 minutes to, you know, maybe an hour every single Tuesday, just to get it all together and sent out. Okay. I try to batch them as well. So, you know, sometimes I'm doing it week to week, but ideally I like to get it all together, you know, and planned out for, you know, a month at a time would be kind of most ideal, but sometimes it's week to week. It really just depends.
Got it. So last question. I said that last time and I apologize, but this is good information.
That's okay.
You know, because even, you know, just thinking back as Margie mentioned about, you know, me opening a brokerage, there was quite a bit of time where I wasn't originating because it was, you know, focused on leadership, right? And I wasn't on the day-to-day activities in regards to selling. And so one of the things that, you know, was a blessing was that I had a database, not quite the way that you were doing it, but, you know, was keeping in touch with people the best that I possibly could. And then so when the company started, the only one originating for the organization, I was able to get back in touch with people and pick up on that. And so I think it's super important for everybody to understand this. But like, what resources, like I know you said it took you some time, like 30 minutes or so to get it going, but what kind of response are you getting from this? So when you started versus now, like, or when you miss sending it out on Tuesdays, are people like reaching out to you, like, where's my newsletter?
So I have missed a couple of weeks. I would say right around the holidays, I missed one or two. I wouldn't say that people have reached out and been like, where is it? But I will say that, one of my favorite things that happens is I also run everything through Calendly. So, I don't have like a direct link in that newsletter, but they have the sources basically to be able to book an appointment. So a lot of times I'll say reply because I want to see, if they have something, a specific situation, or I can pull out a little bit more information before I'm just like book an appointment. But I really love seeing responses to newsletters that maybe I sent out 2 months ago, but it's relevant to them now. Or if I see just an appointment get scheduled on my calendar that I didn't do, in my opinion, any work to like chase after that lead. So I don't know if I can really say like concretely, this is the kind of response I get, but that's really what I'm looking for, them to just automatically book that appointment or respond to an email that was from months ago. And I get really excited about that because then I'll look and I'll be like, I don't know who this client is, but then I'll hop into my MailChimp and see, what email they pulled up. And, it's just automatically on my calendar. So it feels like you're not doing a lot of work to get those consultations sometimes.
That's a great strategy. If everybody's listening, keep in touch with your database, and get some call to actions in there that will drive them to schedule appointments to have conversations with them. Especially right now, there's tons of people that could benefit from a refinance. And then, a lot of folks are moving, just moving in general because their circumstances and situations are changing with their jobs, and they don't necessarily have to be so close to work and such, or they've, spent so much time in the household with their families, and they see their small kids and know that they're going to be growing so big at some point. And if we have to be in here with these kids for, another 5, like this again, in a situation like this, they're going to be too big for this house. So we need to move up. But thank you for that, Jordan. So Amy, we're going to go to you. Amy, you do something similar. And I think, to piggyback off of it, can you tell us like what some of the strategies and ideas that you're doing to keep in touch with your clientele, your client base as well, and prospects?
So back at my last company, someone from corporate, every Monday, she would send us a Monday motivational email. And I never really read them, but one day I did. And I was like, this is a really cool idea. And I think I could do this as well because I love writing so much. So back at my last company, I was like, all right, I'm going to give this a try. So I started on Mondays and I would type out the little email, and in them, there's a sense of vulnerability with it because I'm talking about things that are going on in my personal life and how they can apply it to their lives, and just trying to spread positivity. So I started doing it and consistently, and people were really resonating with it. I would get replies like, thank you so much. I needed this today. This is exactly what I needed to hear. And even today, people will reach out to me and they'll say, hey, I never told you this before, but your Monday motivational emails, they've really helped me get through. And so it's just a rewarding feeling because yes, we help people purchase homes every single day, but to also help them like be inspired in their everyday life, that's what I live for. I love inspiring people in general. But from a business perspective, it's also a way to stay in front of your clients without selling anything to them. It's not like I'm trying to push a mortgage in their face. So I feel like they get a sense of a genuineness coming from me, and it's not me trying to be too salesy about it. So I know that that's really helped me stay in front of my database.
Thanks for that. That's awesome. So there was Amanda wants to know, Jordan and Amy, how do people get added to your list? Like, that's a great question. And also too, in the do me a quick favor before anyone answers that question. In the chat, if you're getting some good information so far out of this, can you just put like exclamation points? More than one, at least. Because I think they're doing an amazing job. And thank you for that. And then also don't forget, if you have any questions whatsoever, please, please, please ask questions in here, because we want you to get stuff out of this. We don't want to just come on and have them, spew and talk about things that aren't relevant to you. So if you do have any questions, which there is one more question that we want to address here that hasn't been asked yet, but like, Jordan, Amy, how do we get into your database?
That's a great question. I add everybody that I've ever talked to my database. I too have Calendly. So anybody that's ever booked an appointment with me will get added. If you've ever filled out an application, all my referral partners, everybody. So if you want to be added, you can just drop your email in the chat and I'll make sure to add you guys.
Sounds good. So Jordan, how about you? Like, and even Amore, like, because I haven't asked you your question yet, but how do you add folks to your database?
Yeah, I mean, most anybody that I've been in touch with that has expressed any interest in buying goes on the one particular list. I also have a sign up on my website that I've probably only gotten a handful from that, but it's still super valuable to me because then they're still getting marketed to every single week. But yeah, initially it was just anybody that was in my database that hadn't bought yet, and I just put them right on there, and I just constantly add to it every single week. Same with Amy. If anybody wants to be added, they can put their email in, and I can subscribe you.
Thank you. One of the questions was about software tools and database. I'll take a stab at this real quick, and we can get a little bit more granular later. But it sounds like, at least from what I've heard from them so far, MailChimp is something that sends out emails to mass emails, is something that they're using. Also a CRM, whether it's Salesforce, or some companies use Be in Touch, some use Jungo, just all different types of CRMs. And it sounds like too, as well, like Amy's using a virtual assistant. We'll get into that because there was a question around assistants and things like that. But I don't know if I missed anything, but Amore, Amy, or Jordan, are there any other systems that you really use, like in regards to database tools, that you find helpful?
Outside of actually something that is used like for business, every person that I talk to, client base, I actually stalk and find them on Facebook and add them, so that way I can see what they're about, like personally, and then they can see what I'm about, because I don't really post a lot on Facebook about work, besides like more of my personal life and social surveys that come through. So I want to see like, oh, look, they have the same type of dog that I do. Or look, they're a snowboarder. Oh, they're planning a family vacation. Like, that's my little personal touch. And then I'll go and I'll like, or I'll comment. It's just a different way of doing it versus sending them a mailer or an email. Now I have through Embrace, we have our CRM, and they get touches like that is automated, but more of a personal level, I'll go through social media.
Yeah. My virtual assistant, she also adds everybody that we talk to on Facebook. So we like to do the same thing. So
yeah, it's a different way. It's like less like businessy. It's more personal.
I'm putting a comment in the chat, but I put a smiley face behind it. I said stalk on social media.
More tools that I use too. I live by Mortgage Coach. Like, every single client that I have, I put together a presentation for them. And Mortgage Coach, I actually just got my black belt in it, so I'm excited about that.
Nice.
I like to use voice text with the iPhone. So like, I get a lot of texts from clients, and sometimes I don't have time to type out a whole message. So that really helps, just being able to send a voice text instead of calling and leaving a whole voice message. And then also, I just recently started using Simple Nexus, which is a mortgage app, but people can also apply through there. And I love it because you can also share the app with your referral partners, and they can just pull pre-approval letters right from there after the client's been pre-approved up to their pre-approval amount. So if you don't want to work on weekends, you don't really have to, because they can just get their pre-approval letters without needing you.
There we are, these rising stars, everyone. All of us, everybody that put the ones in the chat that have been in the business for longer than 10 years, we probably think that we have it all figured out, but definitely reach out to the rising stars, because they have all the answers. They know how to use the technology very well. So Amore, you mentioned and I was able to look at your online profile, and it looks good. Like you have a lot of really good reviews on there. And I have to believe that, folks are seeing that online. And then also when people come to you, they're largely disarmed because they trust you. Couple things you mentioned, social survey. So I'd like to know how that's helped you, like with your online reputation. And then also a question that I have, because we haven't really talked about like mentors and such. And I know you made some comments before when we were talking about like, how your company and some of your mentors have helped you. So first talk to us about the social survey and your online reputation, how that's helped you. And then tell us a little bit about the mentors and such in your mortgage career that have helped you specifically in your company.
So what I love about social survey is it's sent on my behalf without me having to send it. I think every company should send it for their LOs. It's a great tool to get someone to review. It also, you can't stop someone from getting a review or having the ability to write a review. So that's always playing in my mind. So I really, really try to make sure that my borrowers have a pleasant experience, even if they're mad about like what the underwriters are requesting, or it's taking longer than they thought. Like, it's like, let me just always be nice. Let me be available. Let me pick up the phone. Let me tell them that I feel the pain. Let me I understand. And then I always tell them, which I do, is that right before closing or the day after closing, I'm like, hey, I have a gift that's coming to you. It's being personalized and you'll receive it in about 2 or 3 weeks. So when that survey comes out like the next day, they're thinking, oh, I'm going to get a gift. So let me write something nice. This is my thought process. It might not really be what happened, but it's my thought process. But what's really helped is, like I said, instead of bombarding my social media with, oh, mortgage rates are the lowest they've ever been, or I just helped 27 families this month, which I haven't, but things like that, they just see personally from reviews. Because what's the first thing we do as people when we want to try something? We'll go to Yelp. We're looking up the reviews, how many stars they have, how many people have actually reviewed them. So to me, that was really important. Like, just get the reviews and post them. You don't have to say anything about them. Just let it go naturally. And surprisingly, other people see it. And every time a social survey has been posted, I've gotten a message from someone like, oh, hey, do you think you can refinance me? Or, someone's looking for a home or something like that. So it's really helped. For mentorship, I've seen it from the bottom. So I've seen it when we were in the refi boom in 2012, as I was a receptionist and an assistant, people making so much money, and just, it felt great. And then everyone's on board, whether you are the president of the company, the regional, the branch manager, sales manager, everyone treated you the same. Like, it wasn't that you were just a receptionist or a $75 million producer. You were treated the same. So that made you feel good. So that's why when you were growing, like when I was growing in the business, I was like, okay, this is where I want to be, because everybody knows you, everybody treats you the same. Well, when I kind of branched up on my own, interest rates increased. So that refi boom was gone. So it's like, oh crap, I thought I was going to make a lot of money and now I'm not. There was a point where my second year, I did 10 million. It was in 2017. I did 10 million and I was like, oh, this is great. I'm done. I don't have to work anymore. I went on vacation for like a month. And then I realized that it became very hard afterwards when you took your foot off the gas. But I had leadership at Embrace that would say, you've got this. You have it. Not many people have it, but you have it in you. Just keep your foot on the gas. Finally, a few years later, it triggered. Now, 2020, as great as it was, there was also a lot of mental health that was going on, working nonstop, not figuring out, is this really what I want to do? I'm struggling. How do I balance work life? And our sales manager, who's actually a good friend of mine, Sandra Schemmer, she's on the call. She really was like, Amore, you're doing great. You have tripled your business. Not many people are tripling your business. You need to take time, appreciate yourself, and know that like you are doing it. So there was a lot of support that came from the inside, whether you were doing good or where you weren't. So I love the Embrace family. Like that's the whole feeling of it. It's like they're leaders because they have a rank that's higher than you, but it's like we're all on the same playing field and they make you feel that way. They make you feel like you are everything. So a lot of good mentoring that comes from them.
Thanks for that. Thanks. So Jordan, you mentioned similar, like you got into the business, you hit the ground running, you went straight into origination, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no downtime. You just started going. And I know you've had some great mentors as well in your company. But what clicked for you? Like, what was that aha moment where it was like, because you 30 million, you did over 29 million, almost $30 million in origination, and that's great. That's actually really good. That puts you in largely in the top percentage, nationwide. But everybody had a great year. Not everybody, but we all had great years. Last year, let's just face it, was really good in 2020 for a lot of people. Financially, Amori mentioned though that there were some mental health situations, and the pandemic piece that was unfortunate. Like there was nothing good about that part. But for us in our industry, we've been extremely blessed to be able to continue to operate the way that we have. But in your career, to sort of get you in this mindset that you have and to get to where you are to help as many families and people as possible, what clicked for you?
That's kind of a tough one.
That's a trick question, huh? That you weren't prepared for, huh?
Yeah, that one's a little tricky for me because I can't say that there was just like this one moment where I was like, oh, I've got it all of a sudden. I feel like it's been little tiny things every day, every year. There's always going to be a new challenge and a new struggle. And I mean, we would have never predicted the pandemic ever. So I think it's just those little wins that have been bigger to me versus, one collective moment. They've just been small things. I remember it was years into the business and I had done maybe one refinance, and I sat down with Ryan and, kind of embarrassed, honestly, because at the time I was like, I'm into my career a couple of years here and I should know how to structure a refinance. And he broke down every little thing. I have a cheat sheet that I use to this day to put those refinances together. And as soon as I got it, I'm like, all right, I get this now. I can go out and do it myself. But, things like that over time, I mean, it's just, I learn something new every single day. And I feel like it's just been, just like little baby steps along the way versus one big moment. But there have definitely been people, Ryan has been huge. I think I mentioned this during our other call, but I remember when I was really new to the business and he had apped 15 loans that week. And I had no concept of how busy you were if you were apping 15 loans a week. And I asked, and he stopped what he was doing completely and just sat with me at the table until I understood these transfer and recordation taxes, because I didn't get it. So, I mean, he's always been there to help. I mean, and many other loan officers in the company, everybody's always been willing to help and encourage. Gina, our trainer, does group calls, and then also one-on-one coaching if you want. So, I mean, it's been a lot of little aha moments, and I have all the people around me to thank for that, for sure.
Thank you, Jordan. I like what you mentioned about the little things, celebrating the small wins. And it sounds like, even from talking to you, you have a competitive background with sports and leadership and such. And so you appreciate that journey and celebrating those small wins. And I put, focus on, the day-to-day, like the basics every day. So for football analogy, blocking and tackling, right? Mm-hmm. What's your main source of business, Jordan?
Me?
Like your referral sources and
it's shifted a little bit over the years. In the beginning, I really focused on, who I knew, which was my sphere. And that transitioned because I realized that, marketing to real estate agents, was where a lot of my business was coming in. And then I would see some of those realtors that I had maybe worked years to get their business, and then they, maybe they get pregnant and, get out of the business, or they stop being a realtor, or, and I was just realizing like, oh man, these sources that I was thinking I was going to count on, are no longer even doing real estate. So, or they move, it could be any number of things. So in the last year or two, my biggest focus has been on receiving referrals and leads from my database. So a lot more is coming from my, past clients, or even clients that have been pre-approved but haven't bought yet. So I really, focus on, my database now.
Database. That's what I keep hearing. get relationships. So I'm gonna go to Amy, and we're gonna go to Amore, and we'll take a few more questions and try to wrap this up. I haven't seen that long cane come out yet to pull me off of the stage, so we are gonna go the full hour. If we go a little bit over, don't beat us up, but we have enough time for a couple more questions. So Amy, one of the questions specifically to you, you had mentioned earlier about the virtual assistant that's helping you with your social media. So, which was, I thought was a fantastic question. Some people hear assistant and maybe think that they can't afford one in their initial business, right? So, Amy, how were you able to justify that expense? And then also tell us how it impacted your business.
Yeah, so one of my favorite podcasts that I listen to is with Carl White. It's called Loan Officer Freedom, and he drops so many gems. So I was listening to this one episode, and it was all about how if you hire a virtual assistant, it'll change your business. And after hearing that episode, I was like, okay, this is something that I definitely want to look into. So I scheduled the call with this company that he had featured on the podcast, and they hire virtual assistants out of the Philippines. So what they'll do is they will recruit these virtual assistants. They'll interview about and get you to have like 6 candidates. And then I got to interview the 6 and pick which one I wanted from there. And because they're in the Philippines and money is structured way differently there, my virtual assistant, I pay her $6 an hour, which is good money there. And she works for me 20 hours per week. It is an expense that I eat myself because I know that it's benefiting my business so much. I don't mind paying. It's something that really has helped me grow over the past year. And I really suggest, if you can't hire a real assistant right now, at least start with a virtual assistant. She can help with things like social media. She follows up with old prospects for me. Last year, she followed up with this one prospect that I hadn't talked to in a year, and they ended up purchasing a $600,000 home. So that was like her salary for the whole year, just paid off with that one loan that I did. So it's definitely worth the investment and worth looking into.
Yeah, that particular company helped us too as well find one. They're amazing. Like, so they'll recruit. If anybody's listening and interested in the virtual assistant, because they don't have to necessarily touch your client's personal information. I know that's one thing that everybody's worried about. And so I, like Amy's mentioning, outside of that, the marketing piece and also the follow-up piece, this particular company actually puts out your job description. They'll vet them. They had voice recordings. They also do a disc analysis for each person, so that if you're looking to build your team to make sure that they fit in at a certain place. And they, I don't know, Amy, if they probably also did a phone interview, virtual interview with them too as well.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And then also one of the things too, to dispel the $6 an hour is a very, very good income there. From speaking to one of the virtual assistants, like, like a lot of their stuff is subsidized in regards to their housing. They were saying like a dozen eggs was equivalent to like a 25 cents or so here in the US. So that's a very good income. I'm not here trying to sell a virtual assistant or anything, but you ask how she was able to do that. And so I've seen several people, many people actually in the mortgage industry use the virtual assistants outside, specifically if they have a great following on social media and stuff. And just even the follow-up phone calls have been very, very helpful. So thanks for that, Amy. I hope that answered the question. So, all right, here we go. So this question came up again. So Amore, do you send out any like closing gifts or anything?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
talk to us about that. Are they personalized? Like,
yes.
Okay. Talk to us about that.
So I will send a personalized gift. Remember, this is how I get my good surveys. I send a text or a call to my clients and I let them know, hey, I have a gift that'll be coming to you. It's personalized, so it'll take 2 or 3 weeks. So basically I'll do something like um, I'll send a carafe set and I'll have their initials in the glasses, and in the carafe it will have like their last name, or like this one I just sent like a wooden clock that had their name on it. And it was basically like, every minute of the day, I want you, like in my little letter to them, every minute of the day when you see this clock, I want you to remember like what you did to be in this home. Like these little like inspiring things to them. I wouldn't just be like, thanks for purchasing your home with me, or thanks for letting me do a refinance. Like I would find some nice little quirk to send with them. And then I'll get an email or a text or a call that they received it. Now, if it's like a month and I haven't heard from them, I will reach back out. And I'll say, did you receive my gift? Just to say, and then they'll say, oh yeah, I'm so sorry. Thanks so much. No. And then I'm like, look, do you need anything? This is my cell phone. It's been my cell phone for 18 years. It will not change. Like, I'll reach out. So the personalized gifts really help. Before, I used to send like a bottle of champagne. Like when I would go to closings, I would bring a bottle of champagne. The champagne is gone and they throw the bottle away. They're not going to remember you anymore. Give them something that is going to be shown. You know how many times people are like, oh, my loan officer, 1, didn't come to my closing, or 2, my loan officer didn't get me anything. Oh, well, mine did. So maybe you should have went with my loan officer. So yeah, definitely do personalized gifts. They work.
That's awesome. The champagne is gone. If I knew how to spell champagne, I would put that in just kidding. So no, thanks. So I think we have what, about 6 minutes, Crystal, Margie. All right. So if there are any more questions from anybody in the room here, please go ahead and put them in there before we do our parting words and such.
So Sean, we had some chatter in the box.
Yeah.
People were asking about technology, so I thought it might be cool to have people that use mortgage coaches to type it in the chat box who you use. And also, if you have a data marketing or CRM system that you really like and you're using, if you could type that in the chat as well.
Got it. And I think too, Amy was mentioning mortgage coach. So if you get a chance, you can Google, just type in mortgage coach edge. What's the guy's name? Amy, who owns that company?
Dave Savage.
There we go, Dave Savage. And it'll help you understand it. So mortgage coach is just a really neat way to send out loan estimates, really. Like, but it takes it a little further than just showing what the rate, the payment and such is. It's a really good online tool. So that's what I think. I know Amy was talking about that in regards to the mortgage coach piece. And but do you all use any hang on, let me mute who that is. So in the chat, yes, Crystal, thank you. If anyone uses like an outside coach for business or personal, place that in the chat if you can. If you use like an outside coach for someone that's helping you with your business and your mindset and stuff like that, put that in there. And then any like database marketing, if we've missed anything, because, Jordan has mentioned, and, Maury and Amy, some of the tools that they use, but maybe we missed something. So please put that in there, as well as the CRMs, like whether you're using it outside of your company or you have your own or whatever your company uses, place that in there as well, because I think that's very important. If you're still finding value in this and you're going to stay on for the next 4 minutes, let's get some more exclamation points, please. Does anybody use MBS Highway?
I do.
You
I
do?
just got MBS Highway too.
All right. And what's that help you do?
Well, I like it because it kind of gives you a glimpse of what rates are going to do that day, right? So you get to see where the bonds are, you get to see where the yield is. Like Barry Habib, I am obsessed with him. I think he's great. he gives a morning commentary. So let's say if I'm not the person that's constantly sitting there watching the news, trying to figure out what's going on in the markets, Barry tells me in the morning, and then I get to tell my clients what's going on. So it's
Amore,
perfect.
I'm gonna interrupt you. I've been in the business for 30 years. I don't need Barry Habib to tell me what the market's gonna do. Are you kidding me? Why do I need a Barry Habib? I'm just kidding, by the way, because I think it's a great hack. But like seriously, like why'd you subscribe to that? Like why was that so important to you? Because like like I said, those 10-year plus people think that they think we have it all figured out. So
Well, one, Embrace gives it to you.
okay.
So that's a gift to us. So we get to use it. So why not utilize something that is free? We love free things. So I like it. Like I said, I don't like having my TV on, watching the news or watching market stocks, things like that. I try to stay away. So if I can just see something like very little that's right there, and I look at the graphs and I see what has happened, in the last month or so, then it kind of gives me an idea to tell my clients, like, okay, we should float today, or probably should lock. Like it helps. It helps me. So I'm a big fan of MBS Highway.
Yeah.
It's short, simple, and to the point.
Yeah, it's actually good information. You can have an idea what the rates are going to do for the day, whether you should lock or float. That's actually something that's very important that can help you separate yourself from other people, especially in this age now. Everyone's got information at their fingertips, and as y'all know, the borrowers they think they can predict the market a lot of times, and so if you can help them, that helps you really become the expert. So what we're going to do in our last minute, let's see if we can make this happen. So as we close, we're going to go to Jordan. That's the silent assassin over there. What would you tell? Another question, and everybody's going to have to answer this one, Jordan. I apologize.
I'm going first.
You're going first.
Again?
Again.
All right.
All right, now here we go. I owe you this. All right. I owe you this. So we're going to go Amy.
Okay.
Your rookie self.
Yeah.
What would you like if you could talk to yourself today and have a conversation with your rookie self? What would you say?
Oh my gosh, I would just give her a hug and be like, girl, you don't know what's ahead. Just stick through it, because this industry, even though you want to quit every other week, it's worth it to stay in, because even through the bad times, it's so addicting to be in this industry and be able to help people. And you don't know the impact that you're going to have. So just stick with it. That's what I would tell her, because there were so many times where I was like, I don't think I can do this. I'm not made for this. But now here I am, and just seeing Amore and Jordan's stories as well. It's like, we are super women, and imagine if we quit. Like, we are here to inspire other people to keep going.
That's awesome, Amy. Thank you. Our industry can't afford for you to quit.
Yeah.
We need you. The industry's aging out, and we need folks like y'all to continue to carry on, and definitely don't quit. Just stick with it. Thank you for that. That was inspiring. Amore.
Amy took the words out of my mouth. I mean, that's literally what it is. It's run, don't do it, get out. And then it's like when you're in it, you're just like really focused into it, and you're like, you know what, I can do this. And then you see the reward, right? You see the reward in your numbers, and then you see the reward where your borrowers are in their home. And I love my real estate agents. I think they're great. I think it's wonderful that they found the perfect home for them. But in reality, loan officers are the ones that got them in that home. We did everything that we possibly could to make sure that they could financially secure that home. So we have the power. We've got it. So rookie self, stay there. Got it.
Wow, that's a big time pep talk. Yeah, thanks for that. All right, you ready, Jordan?
I think so.
All right, let's do it. What would you tell your rookie self?
I would say stay true to who you are and what you believe. I think that for me in the beginning, you get so many people telling you like, you should do this or you should do that or try this idea. And I think it's great to test things out, but you can't do every single thing. So, pick and choose what you feel like is going to be the best for you. Even from this call, I know a lot of you probably got a lot of really awesome ideas from these ladies. So, just focus on one. Don't get overwhelmed by thinking that you have to do everything at once, and just implement what works for you. So that's what I'd tell myself.
That's awesome. You three ladies, women, bosses, you all are amazing. I can tell from some of the comments that we're getting in here that you're inspiring everyone. I saw someone, I want to read this, and then we'll do one thing, and then I'll turn it over. But great job, lady. Well, to everyone. Whit Anderson wrote, great job, ladies. Thank you for spearheading the YMP and PMW for the future mortgage industry. Keep being influencers. You rock stars for mortgage boss ladies. So congratulations. So I would ask you this, like, just do this for 5 seconds. I'm gonna get in trouble with the teacher, but I don't care. Everybody take themselves off mute and give a huge round of applause for our 3 women that participated today.
Yay! Bravo.
All right, and I need y'all to quickly mute yourselves again before they won't ever let me do this again. So no, thank you for that. So I think we're finished unless anybody has any parting words. I'll turn it back over to Margie, Crystal, or whoever is going to wrap this up. But I truly appreciate the opportunity to moderate this panel today. I always gain a lot from having these types of conversations. I learned even more. We had a 1-hour conversation to prepare for this previously. So I learned just as much today as I did the first time around. And so Amy, Amore, Jordan, thank you. We appreciate you. Keep up the good work. And that's it. Just keep inspiring people. And y'all have double, triple, quadruple, 5 extra business over the years. And so kudos for that.
Great. Sean, thank you so much. I'm going to jump in here.
Hey, Janet.
Oh, no worries. All good. Sean, thanks for leading a great conversation and pulling a lot of information out of these wonderful women. Amore, Amy, Jordan, you guys are amazing rising stars, and we're very fortunate to have heard what you have to say today. You guys have some wonderful ideas and some amazing insights into this business. Next events for the MMBBA. On March 10th, please sign up for our renovation lending best practices webinar. Also, keep an eye out. We're going to have another topic from the PMW, the Professional Mortgage Women, and we're going to have that out for the spring. So just keep checking mmBBA.org and look at the events calendar, because we've got a lot of great things coming up. Also, a big event, that the MARC conference is now October 5th through October 7th. That's the Mid-Atlantic Regional Conference. And it's put on by both the MBA-MW, Metro Washington, and the MMBBA, the Maryland side. And we're going to have some powerhouse speakers, really neat networking events, and you're going to learn a lot of great tools to help empower your people and your origination growth. And we might even do like a little late night gambling and some fun. So it's a really cool event. If you've never attended that before, that was where our last event was. And it was just, that's just a great venue it's at the National Harbor. And it's just a really cool place to be. The other thing I want to just quickly mention, the MMBBA, we are here to work for you. And we would love for any of you to reach out to Crystal, myself, Sean, Steve Lagana, a lot of us sit on the board, Sandra Schemmer. We would love for you to join our committees. We got a lot of really good things happening. And, we can attest to how much the MMBBA, our involvement, I've been involved for over 30 some years. Crystal, Steve, ask Sean. It has really also been a great contribution to our successes and the people we've met and what we've learned. please reach out to us and join some of our committees. We've got education, legislative, social. This event is being put on by the Young Mortgage Professionals and the Professional Mortgage Women, the PMW. So please reach out to us and get involved, because I think you'll find it to be another really helpful way to enhance your career. Again, everybody, thank you. And I just want to mention, we had over 65 participants today. Thank you for joining. This was an amazing event, and we look forward to seeing you at our next event. Thanks again.
Thank you, everyone.